My first experience with cannabis was in college. I was always under the impression that marijuana was dangerous and this gateway drug and that you were going to ruin your life if you ever touched it. After using it for the first time, it was just really, this is it? I had no problem with people using cannabis, but personally, I didn't think medicinal cannabis was a real thing. I just thought it was an excuse for people to get high and legalize it. Until it happened to me, I didn't know. I think that what we're doing here is amazing and is really the future of cannabis.
In 2018, the federal government legalized hemp and all of its derivatives, isomers, and extracts through the Agricultural Improvement Act. This law has created a hemp products industry that rivals the legal marijuana market. In 2022, hemp sales hit $28 billion, while cannabis sales were $26 billion. Since hemp and marijuana are different varietals of the same plant, Cannabis sativa L, they contain the same compounds, and hemp can be used to make products of similar potencies as those found in state-regulated marijuana dispensaries around the country. Companies like 3Chi use hemp-derived CBD, a non-psychoactive cannabinoid, and convert it into THC, the compound in cannabis known for getting consumers stoned, and infuse it into edibles and vapes. So long as each product is made from hemp, defined as cannabis that contains 0.3% of delta-9 THC or less, the products are technically legal at the federal level.
3Chi is a cannabinoid research and development lab. We're also a product manufacturer and a product distributor. 3Chi is in the hemp industry, and that differs from the marijuana industry in the sense that hemp is federally legal and marijuana is federally illegal, which provides us a lot of benefits over the marijuana industry in that we can ship interstate, we can advertise, and we can run our businesses more similar to a normal company than marijuana can. I started 3Chi to really pay forward what cannabis did for me. I'm a biochemist. I enjoy science and I love using that, and I had been formulating products and using my science degree for that for a while. I had gone to a cannabis conference out in Portland because I had a lip balm company that was taking off, and it was a flavored lip balm that people were loving so much, they were eating it off their lips so fast, they said, hey, turn this into an edible, and I didn't know what that meant. While I was out there, I was trying to find the THC to put in this stuff and couldn't find it. Nobody would sell it to me. So somebody told me, hey, you can just take hemp distillate and try that. And by the way, you should try this for your shoulder. And I had had debilitating shoulder pain for about 3 years up to that point where I gradually lost the use of my right arm almost completely. I made myself a tincture and I made myself a pain rub. And I had tried everything else before this, right, outside of surgery. And within a week of using it, I had to use my right arm back. Here at 3Chi, we make oils, edibles, vapes, tinctures, concentrates, and soon we hope to be selling flower. The oil is the starting point for these products. So those are the cannabinoids. A cannabinoid is the primary active ingredient in cannabis. When you're using cannabis and you're feeling the effects, that is the cannabinoids at work. I started 3Chi with the intent of really chasing those minor cannabinoids, and what we did was laid the foundation for the industry as it exists today. We were the first ones to put minor cannabinoids into hemp-derived products and really offer those and really build that out. And at the time, we saw really people were only focused on 2 cannabinoids. In the marijuana industry, it was delta-9 THC. In the hemp industry, it was CBD. But in the research, we found that there was over 100 different cannabinoids. I just looked at and thought that was a major miss, and that there was so much potential because of what we're seeing, the power of CBD and the power of delta-9 THC. There had to be good things in those other cannabinoids. Maybe they've been made in a lab like in 1940 and just to make it, but to make it at a scaled level where it's purified and then to begin to understand what the effects actually are, that's new territory. We're breaking new ground, and it's just an incredibly exciting and awesome thing to be a part of. One of the advantages of hemp over what's been done in marijuana is that we can take all these minor cannabinoids and we can create these blends that don't exist in nature, and we can actually take the full potential of the plant and realize it. There's a whole spectrum of feelings that you can provide with these different cannabinoids. So really, it's limitless in terms of what we can do. And people use the plant for so many different things, whether it is pain, anxiety, anything with mood, even if it's just stress relief. Stress is one of the biggest contributors to medical problems that exists, so I would argue that almost all use of cannabis has some medicinal quality to it. This is the final stage of making the finished oil. From here, we can put that oil into gummies or vapes or other kinds of products, but this is where the finished concentrate form of Delta-8 is created. So here's our GC testing machine, one of them. We use this to just ensure that we have exactly what we want in our oils before they go into the manufacturing process. So we want to make sure that all the solvents are out, we want to make sure that the cannabinoids are correct. I would be surprised if any other company tests their products throughout the process as much as we do. In addition to that, we've invested in the personnel to create new testing methods for all of the different cannabinoids that we work with. I think the term red state weed is typically maybe meant as a derogatory term, as if hemp is something less than marijuana. It's a very ignorant statement. It shows that you don't know the difference between what's really going on in the hemp industry and what's really going on in the marijuana industry. We've talked about 100 plus cannabinoids being in the plant. Well, marijuana's had access to the same plant for almost 30 years now, and they're still a one-trick pony. It's almost comical. I mean, here is what marijuana can do with the plant right now. Here is what I can do. Anybody who is saying that what we can offer is somehow less than marijuana just doesn't know what they're talking about. In some of these states that have marijuana, where marijuana is legal, they've taken away the hemp program primarily, and they've said, okay, well, everything goes into the marijuana industry, and what ends up happening is they don't do anything with these other cannabinoids, and so it just sits there, and it's that one-trick pony of just Delta-9 THC served up a bunch of different ways. But the problem is, not everybody wants the effects of Delta-9 THC. Those work for some people. Delta-9 THC is an answer for some people, but it's not everybody. Delta-8 THC, being less potent and more functional, less heady, allows a lot of people to get things done that they can't do on marijuana. Really, our products are popular anywhere they're allowed to be. And at the end of the day, that's just because not everybody wants marijuana.
Just days ago, the president signed the 2018 Farm Bill, a massive piece of legislation that legalizes industrial hemp.
Not everyone in the cannabis industry appreciates the ingenuity of entrepreneurs like Journay. And marijuana lobbyists, many politicians, law enforcement, and state-licensed weed companies describe the federal legality of hemp-derived cannabinoids as an unintended loophole. In late March, 21 state attorneys general, including Indiana's Todd Rokita, whom 3Chi is suing over his opinion that THC chemically derived from hemp is illegal, sent a letter to members of Congress asking them to remove the protections of hemp-derived cannabinoids from the Farm Bill the next time it is reauthorized.
The 2018 Farm Bill is what opened up this entire industry. It allowed for hemp to be sold and hemp-derived products to be sold federally across state lines and without concern for the Controlled Substances Act. These products are legal in Indiana, and so we've worked with the government for the last 4 or 5 years. We've had politicians out to our facility and walked them through and been very open with the state in terms of what we do and why it's not something to fear. At the end of the day, a lot of people are still controlled by that reefer madness propaganda that they grew up with, and it's especially strong in a state like Indiana. What we've been trying to get passed in Indiana for the last 4 years is a bill that puts regulations and guardrails on this industry. We've been trying to get it to a point where it's 21 and up everywhere you go, and just make it safer for people. We wanted testing. We want flower to be available again, because currently it's not. That was taken away. And we really just want the same level of opportunity that other states have. I think there is going to be a change in administration coming up here, and hopefully, some change in attitudes follow.
And a lot of talk about this on the campaign trail. The Drug Enforcement Administration now moving to reclassify marijuana as a Schedule III substance. That means the drug could be used potentially for some medicinal purposes. A lot of questions have been popping up about that since the announcement yesterday.
Anybody who's an opponent to our industry needs to first understand that the illicit market is full-fledged and has been going for almost 100 years. It's a big business, and it is in your town. But the thing is that the illicit market doesn't care about your safety. We're professionals, we're scientists, we're regulated, we're safe at the end of the day, and we are incentivized to provide a perfect, safe product to you. There's a lot of fear-mongering about this industry that just isn't true. And so we're just trying to get the word out that, hey, these are incredibly safe products. We're completely legit organizations. We have safety standards, we have regulations, we have legitimate scientists working at our facility and creating these products. What was a civil war is really starting to not become one as much, with a large number of the marijuana companies. Really where you still have the fight are the larger marijuana companies who really thrive on a monopolistic type of environment. Those are the people that we're still fighting against. Everybody else has kind of realized, this is the future of the industry, and we need to be a part of it. I actually think that marijuana becoming legal federally is a great thing for us. And again, we have such a head start on the marijuana industry in terms of what we can do with this plant. It just gives us more weapons to work with, really, and more options to do what we're already doing. The one thing I hope is that if they end up making it federally legal, they don't put some crazy taxes and restrictions on it like they've done in states like California and Illinois, and really hinder the ability for this industry to grow like any normal industry should be able to grow. We've just seen so many states get it wrong that you just hope that doesn't trickle up to the federal level. One of the major things that comes with marijuana legalization is the study of this plant and the realization of what it offers. And once people start to realize that, it's going to be a good thing for humanity in general. We have people all the time telling us that they're coming off 20 pills. They don't have the side effects now. They were able to replace a prescription with a gummy. It's wonderful. And legalization is just going to make that ramp and accelerate. So the future for 3Chi is really, first we want to complete this process of exploring the entire plant and nailing down all these different cannabinoids and purifying those, and then really taking the blends that we make with those cannabinoids and starting to really get good, hard clinical research around those products, and in terms of making them the most effective products as possible for the myriad of reasons that people use cannabis.
In late May, the U.S. House Committee on Agriculture voted to approve an amendment that would ban intoxicating hemp-derived and synthesized cannabinoid products, which has been added to the 2024 Farm Bill draft. The amendment also reformulates the definition of hemp, distinguishing between two categories: hemp grown for cannabinoid extraction and industrial hemp used for non-cannabinoid purposes. The 2024 Farm Bill draft is still in its early stages, and the Senate has yet to release its own full version. The future of intoxicating hemp-derived and synthesized cannabinoid products is uncertain.